Sorry,
Yeah.
am I the only one here?
So we have Taylor on the call as well.
Oh, okay, and they're not part of the team.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to know.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm a learning skills coach, but I wanted to join just so I can get some more information for my students.
Great.
Okay. So May, we can make it as interactive as possible. You're free
Sure,
to
sure.
interrupt at any time, right? So just see it like a conversation between just the three of us, right? Since
Great.
we have so many people here. Right. So prior to when you joined, I had shared the agenda, but then we can just go over it again. So basically, it's just like a brief introduction of what it means to stay organized. And then we look at, oh, why do you need to be organized? Why do you need organization skills as a student? And then look at some of the tips where you can do little things you can do to actually be organized. And then finally, we look at some tools that you can use. Like we know that these days you cannot do without technology. So we can look at some examples of applications you can use to stay organized. All right, so I had gone over this before, but basically staying organized just means creating systems, routines to help you manage your tasks, your time effectively. And you'd agree with me that there are so many things that these days require your time, from classes to assignments to work to probably like other commitments like part of an organization. So there is a need to actually manage your time well so that you're able to meet all these responsibilities and not feel like one is suffering for the other. Right. And then these are some of the reasons why you want to be organized. It helps you to reduce your stress levels. Like when you're organized, it reduces stress. It helps to increase your productivity because you're on top of things, you know where you need to be at a particular time, you know the tasks you need to work on. So at the end, it helps you increase your productivity. It also helps you to stay on top of your responsibility. And that's like linked to productivity increase, right? Because you know what you should be doing at any given time. Right. It also helps you to be prepared. Nothing catches you unawares because you had planned, right? For example, like if you know that, oh, today I'm going to have this test, it's not going to catch you by surprise when you go into the class and then you see a test because you are prepared for it. So it helps you to be prepared. It helps you also to make the most of your college experience. Like when you come to college, you have expectations. Oh, I'm going to be part of this organization. I'm going to, do well in my classes. But then the moment classes start, you begin to see that there are a lot of things that you have to work on. But then if you stay organized, it helps you to make the most of your time here as a college student. So we're just going to the tips, right? So I want to make this as short as possible so that we can go back to our activities since we don't have so many people on the call.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, so some of the tips is first of all, you need to understand the importance of organization. You can't do well in something if you don't know why you're doing it. So the first thing you need to ask yourself is why do you want to stay organized? Do you want to maybe submit assignments earlier? Do you want to maybe do well in your classes compared to last semester? Like you need to understand the importance. You need to ask yourself the reason why do you want to stay organized? Because if you don't have a reason for something, then you might not see a need to do it. And it will affect other things. So once you understand the importance of organization, once you know why, the benefits you stand to get by being organized, it makes you want to put in the effort, right? And then also want to create a calendar, right? In learning skills, we usually have the weekly schedule that we do with students where we tell them to bring out their like classes and then we review and then we create like a calendar to help them know what they should be doing at any given time. So you want to create a calendar, you want to start in maybe your classes because those are mandatory things. If you work, you want to also include that in your calendar. If you have maybe other commitments, like maybe you go to the therapist every week or something, you want to include that in your calendar. So that way you know what you should be doing at every given time. It also helps you to know where you have free time and then you can plug in other things to it. And then you want to use a planner, right? Nowadays people talk about planners. You want to write down what you more or less like a to-do list. You want to have like a list of, oh, today I want to maybe work on this assignment. I want to do this. You want to say something?
Yeah,
Please
I
go
have a
ahead.
question. So I struggle with planners. I've always struggled with them at many different points. People, and especially in my childhood when I was diagnosed with ADHD and going onward, they're like, you need to be more organized, you need to have a planner. But I never found them to be something I could use or be effective with, unfortunately. And for the past like 5 years, I've been trying different kinds of planners, but nothing has like stuck. And I'm actually finding myself right now in a moment where I don't actually have kind of a planner. I have a calendar. I have a homework to-do list, but I don't have a solid to-do, like a to-do list, or something like that. Again, I've tried different things. I can go back to trying different strategies, but that is something I'm currently struggling with.
Yeah. So I feel like with so one thing I've noticed is like it's not one size fits all, right? So I can say use a planner and the planner might not work for you. But then if a calendar is what you use to keep track of your activities, I think the major thing is you need to keep track of what you need to do, right? So if it's a calendar that does that for you, then that works. So the reason people try to advocate for planners is because that way you're able to write down what you want to do. But then if you feel like writing down, because also sometimes we plan too much, right? We think, oh, we can do 20 things in one day when you can actually just do two. And then if it keeps happening over and over, you get discouraged. Like, you're like, why should I even do this in the first place? Because it makes you feel like you're a failure. So it might just be that maybe a planner is not what you need. Maybe if the calendar is working for you, then I would say you should stick with it. You don't fix something that's not broken, right? Like if the calendar is working for you and you feel like it has been helping you to stay organized, then stick with it. But then if you want to revisit the calendar option, it's something that we can have a call. Sorry, the to-do list option is something that we can have a call together.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe
excited to see what the digital tools you have available are, or other tools. Because I am currently just kind of shopping around for ideas.
okay. So I don't know if you've used the physical one, but then one I used to use is I don't know if you know Microsoft To-Do List. So Microsoft has an app called To-Do List. Basically, you can create like a plan of what you want to do. You can create like so you can even categorize them. So you can have maybe for me, I can even share mine. I can do like a
Please, I would actually love to see this. I'm aware that there are digital planners out there. I haven't been introduced to them, so it's kind of hard for me to like have a relationship with them.
Yeah, all right. So maybe when we get to the part, I would do like a demo on my phone. I would
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. So a planner is an option, right? And then we have also you want to try time management techniques, right? And I feel like with time management, you still have to first of all start with the calendar because you need to know what you're doing with your time. So it still all boils down to like a calendar. Um, you need to be able to, what's the word? You need to be able to track what you should be doing at every given time. Last semester we had done a workshop on time management. So I can always like send the link to the workshop in case you want to watch it. And that's why we record this workshop. Hopefully in the future, we would have like a centralized location where people can just go and watch videos on their own. All right. And then you want to also look at note-taking strategies. Like you want to ensure that you have proper note-taking strategies. You want to ensure that you take up good notes. I know one of the one that is very, very popular is the Cornell Notes, right? So it's one that you can use. And then we have the Microsoft OneNote, which you can use to take notes as well. So again, good notes would help you, like if you're thinking of studying, it would help your study time, and then it would also help you feel like you've accomplished something. So they're all like tied together in a way, right? Also, you want to organize your class and study materials. You need to know, okay, what are the classes, right? You need to even know your classes to begin with. You need to know like the locations for these classes. You need to know what is the expectations for these classes. You need to know if, for example, there's a recommended text for the class, you need to know ahead of time. You need to know maybe like what's the chapters that you should read. So all these things, oh, so sorry. So I feel like all these things together would help you stay organized. If you don't know what is required of a class and then you have a test, it will make you agitated. It will affect your productivity. So all this groundwork needs to be done. And that's why we decided to have this workshop first, because now we're still in the early stage of the semester. In next couple of weeks, 2, 3 weeks, we'll start having midterm. So the moment you ensure that you organize your study materials on time. It would help with preparing for tests, and then to help you feel less stressed. And then you want to follow a schedule. Yeah, it's when you have like a routine, it helps you better because you know what you should be doing at every given time. And even when creating a routine, you also want to give room for flexibilities, right? Things can happen, something can change. You should be open to you should have that buffer time in case things change so that you're not caught unawares. And then you also want to take advantage of your productive time. You need to know yourself. Are you an early bird, like you like to work in the morning, or you feel you're more productive in the morning? Or are you a night owl, someone that likes, to do more productive work at night? Or again, you might just be someone that's maybe it's during the afternoon that you are more active. So you need to know when you are more active, when you feel like you can do more productive work, and you need to take advantage of that time to do your very demanding work. That's where you would feel less stressed. That's where you would achieve more as opposed to doing work when maybe when you feel like that's not your productive time. And then also I saw this one somewhere on a blog and I was surprised. And they were like, you should clean your room at least once a week. And I'm like, how does cleaning your room have anything to do with organization? But then the argument they made is when you're in a clean space, it affects your productivity. So if your room is cluttered, like it in a way just makes you feel less relaxed. Sorry, just makes you feel relaxed and not ready to do anything. And so they advocated, or they advised, that cleaning your room once in a while would actually help. And I feel like if you look at most talks, when they say, oh, go to the library to read, it's because like the library gives you a different feeling, right? It makes you feel like, oh, this is actually a place to study. So we can also look at it that way when it comes to cleaning your room. The more you clean your room, you get like a different vibe in your room, and then there's a very high tendency that you will do more productive work when your room is clean. Again, it's just one of those things I picked from a blog. Yeah. And then also there's also the importance to set time out for self-care. As students, sometimes you don't even get enough rest, but you need to know that sleep is very important, right? It gives your brain time to relax. It also helps you as an individual. So you need to dedicate time. Yes, you have assignments. Yes, you have midterms. Yes, you have projects. But then in all of this, you also need to give time to yourself to rest. Take care of yourself because it's very important. Take care of your mental health because it's very important in your overall productivity. Now, this is another one I saw from one of these blogs where they asked, or they advised that you should actually pack your backpack a day before your classes. So let's say I know that tomorrow I have classes by 8 a.m., 10 a.m., let's say 11 a.m., that's 3 classes. They advised that the night before you go to class, sorry, the night before, you should actually pack your backpack. That way you are less stressed, right? That way, even if you wake up late, there's a very low tendency that you will leave something important, as opposed to waking up in the morning. You have a 10 a.m. class, you're waking up by 9, you're rushing. There's a very high chance that you will leave out something very important, and it can affect your overall productivity. So let me use myself as an example. I'm currently taking a calculation class. Yeah, and so it means that I have to have my calculator in my bag. So imagine if I do not pack my backpack and I'm running, there's a very high chance that I might leave my calculator at home. Now I have a test today. Imagine getting to the test and then discover my calculator is not with me. That alone is enough to destabilize you. And that alone can even affect your outcome on the test, right? Because you need to do calculation. If you're calculating with your hand, it's going to take you more time as opposed to just keying in the values you want to calculate on the calculator. So yes, it's a very, very small tip, something that you might not even consider significant, but when you look at how it can actually
Hello.
affect you.
So sorry to butt in here. I am still here. So I can interact if there are elements. And then I saw you drop some links. The Magic to Do and Goblin tools. What are those?
So that is it's like a AI website, but it will create lists for you. So you can put in like your task that you have to do, or do like a brain dump in the I don't want to call it a search engine, but do a brain dump and it will organize the list and you can organize it by priority, how long it may take you to do it, how difficult it is, things like that.
Thanks, Taylor.
Mhm.
All right. And then also another tip that I saw was separate your workspace. So you want to differentiate work from home. Yeah, there's also we all know that, okay, your dorm is very small, but then, so they also advise that you need to separate work. So if it means that, oh, your bed is designated for sleep and then your chair and table is for work. So that way, when you're sitting, your body in a way just knows that, okay, this is time to work. Now, there's also something else that I saw that I think as students we might need is they advised or that you should use email filters. Now, our students were getting different emails. If you're someone like me that give out my emails during campus live night, you're getting emails from so many places, right? And sometimes you're even discouraged to look at your emails. But what you don't know that in as much as you're getting a lot of not relevant email or emails that you might consider not relevant, they're also very, very important ones, like emails from your professors, for example, or emails from on assignments and the rest. So I know with Gmail, there's a way to actually categorize emails. So you just have like different categories. That way, important emails would be in a particular category and then you can always check them. So that might be a good use of email filters to differentiate the most important ones from the less important ones. Because again, if you miss out an email from your professor, it's enough to stress you and then to affect how you perform overall. So you might want to just try out email filters. Gmail has it. You can categorize. You can even create labels on your own in Gmail and then add labels such that it will just automatically put things with that tag in the particular folder and then you can always check them out. And then back up your computer. Now, so backing up your computer is very important, especially if you're a student. Yes, we know that if your system is okay, there's a very low chance that it will just crash. But then we've seen it happen in the past and you don't want to share by your system crashes oh, go ahead, me.
Yeah, I'm very happy you brought this up. This is such a good point. One of my computers is kind of like broken right now, and I am not a techie person, so I cannot troubleshoot it. And I'm pretty concerned about my other laptop. It's just running kind of slow after the whole year, just the amount of files and different things that are on it. But I'm gonna get my graduate degree done on it, so I have to just keep checking. And I usually rely on things being in the cloud for backing up things. The only thing I really do that's native to my computer is like, I don't know, Adobe stuff, but usually I'm a Google Docs kind of gal, you know.
Yeah, and then like GVSU has, so with the GVSU email, you actually have like 200 gig of space on Google Drive. So even if you don't want to do things in Google Docs directly, because there's some functionality that you get from Office that Google might not have, right? You can always like maybe just have like a routine to say every Friday, I will just copy my files to Google Drive, which has like 200 gig, and that's a lot of space, at least for a college student. So that might be something you might also do, but it's good to know that you're using the cloud option, because that way, regardless of what happens to your system, you don't lose your information. You don't want to have worked on a project, spent nights. Something happened to me interestingly on Monday. So I had worked on a code and then I had pushed it to GitHub and I lost everything. Now, if I had a backup, I would have had to start all over. So when I was reading it, I was like, okay, maybe this is for me too. So we need to like do backups. Yeah. It's not every time that you lose your information, but when you do, it's very, very painful. So you don't want to be in that situation. Right. So I saw this somewhere and I thought to include it, even though it's more or less like a repetition of what we've currently like looked at. So these are some of the habits according to them that you need to be an organized student. So one of them is you want to track your assignments, right? You want to know, oh, what are the assignments you have? And I feel like some professors actually do a good job. They will tell you from the beginning, okay, you're going to have 4 assignments this semester. The first one is going to be on this day, second will be on this date, and the rest. Some professors will do that, right? But then for professors that do not do that, they still give you like a week notice to say, the assignment to be due on this day. So you want to have like a way to, and I remember you mentioned you have something to track your assignments, which is very good. So you want to track your assignments, you want to track your exams, you want to track like important days. So for me, what I do is like the moment the professor says, oh, this is the date for your midterm, I just add it to my calendar. And then what I do in addition is for my notifications, I put like one day to the day and then 1 week before, so that I know that, okay, my exam is next week, Wednesday, and then I can start reading before then. And then you can always play with notifications as you deem fit, right? Also, you want to have a study schedule, right? And it's important that you have that because, go ahead, please, May.
The visual timetables. What is a visual timetable?
So it's more or less like, you know how, so it's I don't know if you are used to the traditional timetable, but in my country, Nigeria, we usually have like where you have like for each class you have the days of the week, let's say Monday to Friday, and then you have like the times, and then you have like a block for this class, a block for class A, class B, class C. So you are able to see it, right? But then times have changed now. So again, it's still up to you, like based on your preference. If you prefer the hard copy, you want to print it out, you want to design it as you please, go ahead. If you're someone that, oh, you just prefer it on your calendar, go ahead. The world is going digital, right? But then it's just there because some people are still traditional, some people still prefer the pen and paper option. So that's what is there. But I feel like it's still the same thing as a calendar, what your calendar will do for you, right? But timetables are actually specific to just courses. So you know your calendar, you would have other things like break, like study time, like this. With timetable, usually like just classes. Oh, my class is Monday to Friday, this time to this time. And I feel like you can have something like this on Banner. If you go to Banner, your class registration, and then you click on schedule details, it shows you like that pictorial view. So I feel that's what that is, right? So you also want to have like a study schedule. Like you don't start reading you don't start reading for an exam the day of the exam or the day before the exam. You want to have started like gradually prior to then, so that it's easy. So, and then if you need help creating a schedule, we have Learning Skills. We'll go over some of the services that we offer in Learning Skills later, so that you can always schedule a meeting. We are here to help you to build that study plan, and so you can do better in your academics, right? And then also you want to focus on high priority assignments. Sometimes you have 3 assignments due the same week. You want to know which one is more important, which one is due first, which one is going to take more time to complete. So you need to look, there's so many things you need to take into consideration when determining like which ones to focus on first. And then you want to have like a study space. Now, no one is saying that you have to go to the library. You need to look for a place that works for you. For you, it might just be maybe somewhere in your apartment, right? I know GVS, you have some living centers have like places where you can just go and study. That might be what works for you. Some people, it might just be a coffee shop, but you need to have a place where you set aside for studying. All right. So for the tools, there are several, right? I decided to speak with the ones that I know that are offered by GVSU and are free. There is Google Calendar, right? So many students have access to this. You can always go to Google Calendar and then create your classes on it. You can create your study time. And one beauty is the fact that you can always you don't have to create for every week. You can just put you can define like the repetition frequency and then just put, okay, from now to like the end of the semester and blah, blah, blah. And then for the homework, so there's an app I saw called My Homework. Yeah, I saw somewhere that was one of the apps that were recommended by college students as a very good one. I would show it on my phone shortly. So basically with the app, you can create like your different classes, you can create the assignments for your classes, you can put due dates, and then it will send you reminders. And then once you have completed it, you can just go into the app and check it as completed. And then for note-taking app, we have Microsoft OneNote, which is free with your GVSU account, right? Every student has a free Office 365 account, which you can log in to Office 365 with your Banner credentials, right? And then you also have a free paid Zoom account that you can use to take notes. Yeah, so you can generate the captions and then save them. And there's to-do list apps. So Microsoft to-do list is one that I have been using for a very long time, and that's why I like it. Yeah, maybe I'm biased because I know Google has something similar, Google Tax. It's not my favorite app to use, but again, Google has. So it depends, yeah. So with Google Tax, you can actually like while looking at your email, you can just create a tax right directly. So for some people it works for them, but I prefer the Microsoft option because you're able to categorize your tax. So for me, I have something for weekend. I have tax for weekend. I have maybe like so for some I even group based on classes. So you can I even have for like graduate school and the rest. So it's your preference, right? There are several tools you can use out there. And then there is the one for project management. So Trello is one app. I know Asana, but it's usually used in the corporate world. But Trello allows you to be able to manage project tasks, and then you can assign people, you can add contributors. That way you can use to manage. So for graduate students, most of us have to do like group projects. So that might be a good app to use. So before we look at some of the services offered by Learning Skills, I want to connect to my phone and I want to show like the Microsoft's the to-do list app and then the homework app so that you see what it looks like. So please give me a second. Okay, so let me stop sharing my laptop and then share with my screen, with my phone, so that you can see what the app looks like. Okay, so yes, so let me show you what the app looks like. Sorry, okay, so this is what the to-do list app looks like. Yeah, sorry, it's dark screen. All right, but this is what it looks like. So basically for me, I usually like, so as you can see, I currently have like different categories. I have different lists. I have personal, OpenSCP, ignore that. Yeah, I have weekend tax. I have one with my siblings. That's why you see like a person icon beside it. And then you see I have work-related tax. I have grad school. And so you can always create a new list and then just give it a title. You can say maybe SAR or whatever it's going to be, right? You can give it a color, you can put a photo, whatever you want to do with it. It's very flexible. And then once you have a new list, you can then begin to add your tax, right? So let's say my first tax is SAR test. So you can do that, right? So you can do that, and then you can put this a due date, or is it due tomorrow, next tomorrow, or then you can always pick a date and time that works for you. Then you can also tell it if you want it to remind you, right? When do you want to get the reminder for this tax, right? So let's say I want to be reminded tomorrow at 5 a.m. I can put that. And then also you can set if you want it to repeat. So if it's something that keeps repeating every now and then, you can do it. So let's say it's daily, you can do that. So once you're done, you just enter, and then you can see the tax has been added, right? So you can add multiple tax. You can also add like invite people to join the tax. So let's say it's a group tax. You can also invite people to join the tax. Now you can also add, so for me, I don't know, I like apps, right? And I like when I have so many things to do, I like putting it on. Like I like adding widgets for apps that I feel are very important. So it comes with a widget. You can also add like a shortcut to the tax on your home screen if it's something you want to be seeing. You can always duplicate it. You can turn on suggestions. You can do whatever you want to do with this app, basically. And then one good thing I like about the app is the moment you install it, I don't know But every day it would send you a reminder, what do you want to achieve today, right? So there's always that notification of what do you want to achieve, what do you want to achieve, and then that's like a sort of reminder to put in your daily tasks. There's also like my day where you can put in tasks, and then you can also suggest based on tasks that you have written or you have created before. So that's why I like the app. That's the reason. And then there's another app which is the homework app. I just saw it somewhere. I downloaded it like a few minutes to this meeting. So it's called My Homework. So this was again recommended online by some students. Like, it's a very good app. So basically you can use it to track all your homework. You can, for example, you can create like a new class, you can create a new homework where you give the description, you select the class, you can always add all your classes, right? And then you can also select the type of homework. Is it a test, is it a presentation, final, midterm, quiz, whatever. You have several options there that you can select from, and then you can put in the due dates, the time, right? Then you can also like how often, so if it's like a recurring homework, you can do that. Now, a good example would be for sciences, right? So currently I'm taking a course that every week to the end of the semester we would have labs, right? So it's something that you can just set it as recurring. That way you don't have to come back and create it. It automatically creates it for you because you set it as recurring, right? And then, so once you can also select if you want it to send you reminders. And then once it's done, you can see all your homework together. Once you're done with your homework, you can always come and mark it as completed, and then to show that it has been completed. So that's those are just two of the apps that we have, like that I wanted to show, but then there are several apps that you can use as well, right? So again, it's just dependent on like your preference. And if you are someone that likes to write, you're also welcome to write things down with your pen and paper. Right. So I also wanted to take a few minutes to talk about what we do in SCR, right? So we have the learning skills where we help students with time management, with note-taking strategies, with test preparation, studies, how to build your study schedule, and anything you can think of, even like breaking down tasks, like projects into small tasks. We are here to help you. And so if you ever need help with any of these things, or you don't even know like how to even get started on a project or assignment, you can always schedule a session with us and we'll be happy to help you with whatever task that you are trying to achieve, right? So in case you also need copies of our flyers, because like maybe you know someone that needs it, we have flyers everywhere. There's flyers at Kickoff. I know there are some in the Office of Multicultural Affairs, so you can always like also recommend this service to people that you feel like would need it. But then you have to be registered with our office. All right. So I don't know if you have any other comments you want to add me, comments, suggestions, anything that you think you want to share with us. You're muted. You're muted, so we can't hear you.
Hi. I appreciate you showing me all those tools. They do look useful. Yeah, I think this semester has been it hasn't technically been challenging yet because I've been doing all the things I need to, but it feels like I'm doing all the things I need to based on luck. Like, wow, that really worked out. I'm glad that didn't kind of blow up on me. So I've had a couple misses this semester. Um, but yeah, no, my core problem is still that I don't have a planner. I've tried multiple things in the past, and I saw the tools you did, they looked at, and I think a lot of it is just it comes down to a lot of anxiety around planners. I've had so many in the past that like going back to one and putting in a ton of effort to put down all of the things I need to do and get used to the new tool. And do all that, and then if it doesn't work, then I've just wasted a ton of time and energy, and I'm not organized the way I need to be. It's an extremely challenging task for my own ability. So and I'm not I think because of that anxiety, I'm less willing to try something like a new tool. Like I specifically chose a homework planner that is like really low tech. Like it doesn't have a lot of options and it's pretty simple. But yeah, I think I don't know. It's hard for me to know what to do next in terms of if I should go to a new one. I mean, I tried downloading the what's it called tool, the to-do list app, by Microsoft To Do. So I'll take a look at it. But it's the big question I have is like this doesn't seem any different from the reminders app on like iPhone. There's so many different options to choose from as well. So I feel like I have like, oh, am I making a good choice here? Could I just be doing something simpler? Like, for example, I can create lists in my notes app. Like that doesn't have that much of a difference. But yeah, so I just get really overwhelmed when looking at this. Even now, like I don't have like a solid answer. These are all the thoughts that are swimming in my head. I don't know.
Yeah. So May, what if we have like a session maybe outside here where we just sit down and look at it, right? Because I feel like we can even start small where maybe we have like maybe a quick 20 or 30 minutes every day, and then we just go over what do you want to do today, right? And then we can take it from there. Maybe if we do like 2-3 sessions together, you might feel in a comfortable
Yeah, I'm
place.
actually super down for that. I think that is what I want to do. I try to pretty frequently see my advisor. Yeah, frequently see my SAR advisor, but there isn't a ton that we can do in that session. It's not very focused. I'm talking about my accessibility needs and things. So I think some focused sessions for the next couple days would be really helpful. So I'd love to schedule that.
Yeah, so I think you should. So maybe look at your availability for the next couple of days and then just book a session. Then we can even make it as short as 20 minutes, just to go over what you want to do for the day. And then maybe the following day we review how do you do the previous day, or what do you think was the reason why you didn't achieve all your tasks. Again, we're not trying to be judgmental, we're not trying to make you feel like you were not productive. It's just so that we can know what to work on, right?
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. Can you remind me who you are? Like who do you work for? What's your role?
Oh, I'm actually a graduate assistant in the Student Accessibility Resources Office.
Okay, yeah, I was just trying to remember if it was that office. Um great. That was all I just wanted to know. I was curious.
Okay. All right. So thank you
Ah,
so much for your time. Thank you for being our only audience, not from this office.
that's fine. I think it's important that you do these things. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, Taylor, for being here as well.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.